What differentiates a brilliant infographic from a mediocre one? Is it the strong storyline, creative layouts, clever use of color, or maybe even the interesting typography? Well, the best way to find out is by looking at some successful infographics and breaking down what makes them stand out. That's exactly what this video is about. Hi, my name is Carrot and I will walk you through 20 brilliant infographic examples to get inspired by. We've got a lot to cover, so let's just jump right in. First, we have the sound of color. Whether decorating your home or buying a new car, choosing the right color can be difficult. This infographic by Kelly Moore Paints makes a correlation between music and color. It shows how you can select a color based on emotions felt while listening to music. This infographic shows that even though you may not be selling the most exciting product, a painting here, you can still find ways to make it interesting with infographics. Number 2 is blogging food groups. This unique and creative infographic uses a visual metaphor to describe what a well-balanced blog should look like. This makes the topic more interesting and easier to understand. Photos of grains, vegetables, and meats make the infographic visually appealing. The main takeaway here is using metaphors and analogies helps with communicating the main message. Number 3, we have the almighty dollar. This infographic by Good Magazine looks at income levels across different religious groups in the US. With its muted color palette of yellow, green, and beige, this piece is visually stunning. The gradation from light green to dark green is a great way of displaying the income brackets. The arrangement of statistics in half-circle form also stands out. The main takeaway here is to use color to make distinctions in data. Number 4 is learn the language. What code should you learn? This infographic contains a lot of information which is broken down into smaller color-coded sections. Therefore, readers can take a break and come back to a specific section without getting lost. This emphasizes the importance of color coding lengthy infographics. 5, we have the art of color coordination. This infographic by Kissmetrics uses a neutral background to focus attention on the color wheel. The color wheel appears 8 times, which represents a different color combination each time. From this, we learned that repetition can work, as long as you alter it slightly to represent a new concept. 6th, we have the 6 principles of design. Designed by Follow, this infographic visualizes the principles of hierarchy: unity or harmony, balance, similarity and contrast, dominance or emphasis, and scale or proportion. With white space, minimal text, and simple colors, the infographic shows how these elements combine to create a cohesive and strong story. Takeaway that you can use as little as 2 colors and a minimal design to communicate effectively. 7th, we have emotional IQ and you. The unique thing about this infographic by the University of Maryland is the typography. It uses a mix of lean and bold with a wide range of font colors to enhance the visual appeal. Don't hesitate to use a wide range of typography in your infographic. The main takeaway here is to use different types of typography in your infographic to communicate your message and make your infographic more interesting. If you're unsure on how to use typography, check out our course about the fundamentals of visual storytelling. 8th, we have the left versus right brain. Just like some previous examples, this infographic assigns one color to each topic, left and right. Once again, we learned the importance of using different graphic elements and colors to clarify or support your ideas. This infographic from Online Business Degree uses graphic elements of different sizes to add interest. Notice the oversized image at the top of the infographic. It helps to illustrate the different ways big data is created. A key takeaway is that you can use a large graphic that is relevant to the topic of your infographic. Number 10 is how books are made. Though this infographic from Funnel Incorporated appears crowded, It is very easy to understand. Readers can follow the red arrows to move from the starting point to the final destination. A great infographic is one that keeps the eye moving. For lengthy infographics, consider adding a direction line that will keep your readers moving forward. 11. We have basic English grammar. This is a classic example of an infographic that displays common hierarchy between specific items. The layout is made to look like a tree, with each branch revealing the hierarchy of different grammar elements. This makes it easier for the viewers to see the difference between the adverbs, verbs, nouns, and pronouns, and others. 12. We have the history of hashtags. In this infographic, there's a hashtag embedded in almost every graphic element. It is also interesting to note that the timeline is wrapped around an oversized hashtag, thus further emphasizing the subject. The takeaway is that you should repeatedly emphasize the subject of your infographic. 13. What matters most to people around you? This infographic from MoveHub does a great job using colors to illustrate main concepts. The first section is meant to be a color guide for each concept. The color guide is based at the bottom of each section as a reference point. From this infographic, we learn the importance of using colors to represent key concepts. 14th, we have the history of life. This beautiful infographic by Yuan Martinez uses color, artistic expression, and humor to differentiate each age in Earth's history. The graphic is high resolution, making it ideal as a poster. The key takeaway is that you should create an infographic that looks good when printed on paper. 15. Why prolonged sitting and standing is unproductive. This infographic by Anne Vitals reveals what problems sitting and standing for too long can cause. It shows zoomed-in images of different parts of the body, plus a description of the potential danger. From this, we learn that we can use graphic elements to support the main text. 16. Did I plagiarize? Since it deals with different conditions, the definition of plagiarism is quite complex. This flowchart infographic makes it easy for the reader to conclude whether they have plagiarized by following a path that suits their situation. At the bottom of the flowchart is a scale that shows how serious the case of plagiarism is. This infographic shows that we can use flowcharts to simplify complex concepts. 17. Global carbon footprint by nation. This infographic presents information about the global carbon footprint in the shape of a foot. The infographic is easy to understand. The larger circles represent the countries with the highest emission. It is also color-coded to differentiate different continents. The main lesson is that you can present information in unique shapes that are relevant to your topic. 18. Top 10 most read books in the world. This is an example of how you can display data while at the same time creating a scene. The infographic reveals the top 10 most read books globally over the past 50 years. The image is created to look like a bookshelf, with each book being sized based on the number of copies sold. The main takeaway here is that when you can, incorporate the theme of the infographic into the representation of data. 19. We have what is a responsive website. This infographic gives the viewer an overview of responsive web design. It's great for educating potential clients before you talk with them. The main takeaway here is that if you have the design skill, creating an infographic in a certain style can make it much more interesting to your audience. 20. We have the Aftermarket Education. Here, we learn how different kinds of information can be put together in an infographic so that the viewer can understand the concept at a glance. This infographic from Aftermarket Education shows what the landscape looks like in the online courses market. Each circle represents a different online academy. The lines coming out of the circles show the different courses offered. The larger the circle, the more courses the online academy offers. Finally, the circles are color-coded to show the areas of expertise. In the same way, you can use different shapes and lines to present information to your audience. That was the last example from the 20 brilliant infographics I prepared for you today. Whether you want to create process infographics, timeline infographics, comparison infographics, or list infographics. You can get some inspiration from the infographic ideas discussed in the video or from the free infographic templates offered by Piktochart. In the video description below, you can find a link to Piktochart's template gallery. Alternatively, you could simply search for Piktochart infographic templates on Google. If you liked this video and would like to get more visual communication tips, subscribe to this channel. See you next time!